Hello viewer, we're back in SnowRunner. We're just trying to do part 2 of the video on how to get the Azov 64131. And the next step for this is we're at $61,000. We have a couple of trucks in our inventory. We've got the Fleet Star. This would put us to about 94,000. So this would really kind of push us over the edge, but we're going to grab one more truck. You know what? We're not going to grab one more truck. We're going to sell this one. That puts us at 95,000, and we're going to sell the GMC 1500. Okay, the next step, and this is going to be a pretty quick one, is we're going to change regions. So you go to the map, and then you select where it says Global Map, which is a square button. And we want to go to Tamir, Russia. Now, these ones that are flashing, Kola Peninsula, Yukon, all the rest of that stuff, those are DLC maps that I own for the game, but they're not unlocked yet in this particular game, so, because I started a fresh one as part of this tutorial. So we're going to the Drowned Lands. We select that. We hit, I guess, square for move to garage, and then it loads it up. And the reason we have to do this is because Russian trucks are only sold in the Russian regions. Now we go to the truck store, and the 64131 is available to purchase. And we purchase that. And now if we go into truck storage, this is it. Whoops. This is it. This is our new truck, and we're going to customize it just a little bit. Now, you remember back when we had the GMC 9500 in the previous episode, we took the sideboard bed off, and now we're going to put it onto this one. And that's it. That's the only add-on we're going to do to it. It's got all-terrain tires. It's got 8-wheel drive. It's got the diff lock always on. We don't really need to make any modifications. So now what we're going to do is we're going to retain this truck, and we're going to go back to Michigan. So global map again. Select Michigan, and we're going to go to Smithville Dam this time, and move to garage. Okay, so we're back in Smithville Dam. Because we retained the Azov 64131, it's now available in our list, and we can do different customization. We've got about 12,000, but and this is really what I wanted to show you for this particular video. At this point, you could stop watching, or I can show you how to make another quick $11,000. For that, you would keep the Scout 800, you would leave the garage, and we're going to go get a replacement for our GMC pickup that we sold to kick this over the top and raise the cash we need. We're going to go down the hill. This is towards where we started from. Where we came into this map, rather. We take a right. Directly behind us is where the tunnel to this map is. And this is the one gas station in Smithville Dam. Now, we still have plenty of fuel. I'll just open up the map and I'll show you where we've been. So this is where you come into the map. This is where we went up to the garage. This is where the gas station is. And we're going to follow this road. And there's another free truck there. It's another free GMC pickup. There's a mission here to grab a small fuel trailer out of the lake. I'm going to avoid driving through the middle of this mud hole, and I'm just going to kind of skirt the edges of it. Same deal here, go around the mud hole. And I'm still on the verge of getting stuck, but I can always just use the quick winch, which is the triangle button. And here it wants me to bring 2 service spare parts, which, as you remember, are available up the hill close to the garage. Back up here. And you could use the Azov truck that we've just got. That would get here very easily. But instead what we're going to do is we're just going to drive around that because we're not going much further. We're only going to about here. So we're going to go through the bush and we're going to see if we can get around this rock fall. And sometimes when you're cutting through the bush, it's easier to go from the dashboard view because you get a little bit better view than when you're in the external. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Now, as you can see, I'm leaning over quite a bit here. You have to be careful that you don't roll your truck. And sometimes I'm kicking the winch out to kind of drag myself from falling over. If you do roll your truck and your engine stalls, your winch will not work. There's something called the autonomous winch, which will allow it to work under battery power, but most of these winches run off of the engine power. So if the engine ain't running, and the engine will not run if you're laying on your side, then you basically have no ability to right yourself, no ability to use a winch, and your only option is to either bring another truck out to tip you back on your wheels or to recover back to the garage. As you can see, these ruts in the road are quite deep, so driving on the road can be kind of a dangerous option. But we got another free truck. So for that, we go to function menu, stop the engine so we're not burning gas, change truck, recover to the garage. And then at this point, if you like the GMC pickup, you can fix it, you can paint it. Well, it's already been repaired, but you can paint it, you can put better tires on it, you can put the lift kit on it, you can put, roof racks, whatever you want to do, new bumpers, or you could just sell it for extra cash if you like the Scout 800. And then we can go back to the Scout 800, and the final thing I'm going to show you is down the hill here, somewhere in this area, is where you would find the diff lock for the GMC 800. So the easiest way to get to that would be to go down this road that's right near the little cabin here, and I'm going to mark off the paths with the right trigger. Oh, it's because I'm not in the truck. Okay, so now it's trying to show me the shortest route. And there's a bit of switchback here. We'll go down and we'll head this way along the lake shore. Now the one downside of this truck is that it's got a little smaller gas tank than the Chevy pickup, but its other issue is that it's fairly narrow and it's got a high center of gravity, so it tips over easier than the Chevy. And if you put the lift kit on it, it makes it even worse, and if you put a roof rack on it, it makes it worse still. It's also fairly short, so it kind of pitches back and forth a lot. It is nice in that it's got the diff lock on it. It's always on. You don't have to turn it on. And when you have a truck that has an unlocked or an unlockable differential, you can only lock it while you're in low gear. So if you're in automatic, your diff lock is turned off. Whereas with this thing, when you're in automatic, the diff lock is on. Simply because it's always on. Now, the one thing that you do get out of the running it in low gear instead of automatic is that then your right trigger becomes the gas and your left trigger becomes the brake. And if you hold the brake, you don't automatically go into reverse. It's just straight brake and gas as opposed to forward and backward. And there is some times where you might not necessarily want to go as fast, so you might decide that you want to just kind of crawl down the hill to give yourself better control. In that case, you're better off running with it in low range. Now, if I was smart, I wouldn't try this. But rather than taking out of the switchback, I decided to take a shortcut. Now, if you do find yourself getting stuck, turning left and right will sometimes work your way out. Like you'll kind of pull your front end back and forth a little bit. And sometimes that's all that it takes to get you out of that. And you're less likely to get stuck if you're running at low range than if you're running an automatic, because it does model wheel spin once you get in some deeper mud. You can see I'm just kind of cycling the steering to try and get myself unlocked. And if that doesn't do it, I just use the quick winch to try and grab the closest source and give it just a little bit of a jerk. And that gets me moving again. And I've got it in automatic mode here. I'm being a little bit more reckless. And as you can see, I'm on the verge of rolling this thing. And I made a mistake. Okay, I thought that it was in this section here where that differential lock is, but apparently it's in this section here. I know it's down along the coast of the water, but at this point I am too far along, and yeah, I've made a mistake. So I should have actually turned the other way once I got down here. Instead of turning and going this way, I should have turned and went this way. I'm not going to backtrack the whole thing and make you watch that because it's time consuming, and honestly, if you're this early into the game, you could probably do with some exploration anyways. But down here is where you would normally cross the river and find other contracts and stuff like that, or even just visit the watchtowers. Watchtowers with the Azov 64131 are also much easier to get at. In fact, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shut this thing off. And I'm going to go back to the garage by going down the list here, selecting garage. And we're going to do a short demonstration of this thing, just so you have a little bit of an idea what you're getting into. So we leave the garage, we toggle to 6 a.m. And just across the road from the garage, you get your first little mud hole that you can test out vehicles in. And I can assure you that the Fleet Star would have a great deal of trouble going through this. But this thing crawls through no problem at all. Now, this is kind of a harsh trail. You want to go nice and slow. And there you go. Super capable truck, not even slowing down on these mud holes. These mud holes would have the Fleet Star with its highway tires absolutely stuck in the mud. This, it doesn't even slow down. You don't have to use the winch. Its all-wheel drive is always on. Its dip lock is always on. And even this fairly deep mud hole, it just steams right through it. This road to the farm is a good test of vehicles. It's particularly deep and sticky. But not even a challenge for this truck. So there you go. To get this thing, it's a few simple steps. First step is get the Scout 800. Take the Scout 800 to the Smithville Dam map and rescue the TransStar, International TransStar, which is down here. In relation to the gravel, or to the quarry, it's to the southeast of it, right around here on the map. As you can see, this is where you come onto the map. So you go up to the garage, open up that road, which is pretty simple to do, come down, follow the road from the garage, quarry to here. You sell the TransStar, you sell the Fleet Star that you found at Black River, and you sell the GMC 9500 that you found in Black River, and you sell the pickup, and then you go to Russia. By selling all that stuff, you'll have enough to buy one of these things, and it'll make the Michigan region seem extremely easy as compared to how difficult it normally is. And once you've done a bunch of missions, you'll start to unlock better tires, and that would allow some of the other trucks that are on the Michigan map to be that much more useful. Anyways, hopefully this has been helpful to you, and if you like the video when you're not the specific coworker that I made it for, feel free to come back and watch some more. I'm not sure how much SnowRunner content I'll be doing, but there's generally fresh content every now and again. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.